We're not supposed to do a podcast right now, but fuck it. We're going to do a podcast. That's Good Broncos is the name of the show, where we talk about Broncos football, sometimes NFL news, and sometimes we don't even talk about what we say we're going to talk. Actually, that's
most of the shows.
Pretty reliable. We never addressed the Juwan James tweet last episode, which is fine because it didn't mean anything, but it sounded like it meant something, and we just wanted to riff on it, and then we never fucking got to it, and then some people were probably like, well, what was this Juwan James thing? And we never did it. Well, today, I actually got a good thing to talk about. That's why we're doing a pod on a Friday when we normally don't. But it's Ryan Fitzmagic, and the Broncos have apparently reached out to him to inquire of his services, which is kind of big news, titillating news. And I wanted to talk about it with Will, and I made him come home from getting his brand new shoes to do it.
Brand new shoes.
And there's also
brand
some
new
other...
pair of roller skates.
What's that?
It's a brand new pair of roller skates.
Got the four-wheel roller skates.
The roller girl special. The skates stay on.
Yes.
I never take my skates off.
And the Broncos released Jurrell Casey, freeing up more cap space. So we'll talk about that. If Ryan Fitzpatrick makes sense, I'll try to put aside my love for Ryan Fitzpatrick to honestly figure out if that would be a smart move for the Broncos.
Are you really?
I'm going to try. I'm really going to try, Will.
It'd be tough. I don't know if I necessarily believe you.
Well,
but we'll see.
We'll see. Today's episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use code DNVR when you sign up to take advantage of DraftKings. Take advantage of them so hard. Also brought to you by benchwarmerbrew.com, my coffee company, which you can follow Will and I on Twitter at benchwarmerbrew for our tweets that are so good. So good.
Some of the best tweets. Someone once commented, like, this is going to be an uphill battle if all you tweet about are backups. Turns out, backups have given us so much. I didn't even tweet about PJ Walker. It's PJ Walker's birthday.
Ooh, wow.
One of our favorite backups. I would consider going after him, honestly, if
yeah.
If Carolina ends up with a new quarterback, they signed him to a 2-year deal last year. But you might as well give it a shot, right? But
might as well.
But the options now seem like Fitzpatrick sneaking his way in there, according to Woody Page.
Woody's pretty good. Woody's got decent intel from time to time.
He's got time on his side. He's got experience.
He's got experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole reason that I wanted to pod today, Woody Page tweeted that the Broncos have spoken to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Woody wants either Fitzpatrick or Tyrod Taylor. When I read that tweet, I got excited, Will.
In your loins.
In my loins. The deepest parts of my loins. I got excited because I love myself some Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I have said on this podcast that I don't think the Broncos should bring in a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, we spent like a whole episode talking about that.
Yes, because he's going to probably win you too many games for you to really improve your team the next season. Like, you should just keep betting on young guys that you think can be your future until you fucking find that guy. I have said that if they sign Andy Dalton, I will riot. I will riot alone in the suburbs in which I live. Nobody will know why I'm rioting, but I shall riot. But to me, Ryan Fitzpatrick is sort of the exception. And it's not because I actually think he's better than, well, I do think he's better than Andy Dalton. He's more exciting, at least. But I like him. I don't like Andy Dalton. I don't like any more veterans that even give me a whiff of Joe Flacco-ness. And Andy Dalton does that. Tyrod Taylor does that. Like, I don't want any of these guys on the roster to come in if Drew Lock fails and then win like 4 out of 7 games and then screw up trying to get your future the next year in the draft.
Let me push back on that a little bit with Tyrod Taylor. Is he exciting? No. Likable. Far more likable than Joe Flacco.
Oh yeah.
Or really Andy Dalton. Nothing against Andy Dalton, but he's
I hate Andy Dalton.
Fair enough. He's got kind of an O'Doyle face.
He's just got a personality that makes me want to stab my eyes and ears at the same time because it's so boring.
Fair enough.
There's nothing wrong with him as a person. He just bores me. He bores me beyond belief. He bores me when he plays football. He bores me when he talks about football.
So with Tyrod Taylor, though,
I like Tyrod.
Yeah, when he was in Buffalo, they get rid of him. Who's the next quarterback in Buffalo? Josh Allen.
Right.
So he led to them getting Josh Allen. He goes to Cleveland.
I see where you're going with this.
Who they draft? Baker Mayfield, still their quarterback. He goes to Los Angeles. He starts week 1. He suffers a terrible injury inflicted on him by the Chargers team doctor. What does that lead to? Justin Herbert starting. Wherever he goes, an incredible young quarterback follows.
So and wasn't Fitzpatrick before Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo? Or was he there was he in Buffalo and then he went to New York?
I think you're right. Well, Kyle Orton was there right before. It was Kyle Orton and EJ Manuel.
Okay.
And then before that was Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
So, we could do a video one day about the 2 most influential quarterbacks in the modern NFL. And it's Tyrod Taylor and Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, exactly.
Oh, didn't you already do a Tyrod Taylor video for Adam?
Yeah, we did a Tyrod Taylor video. It did really, really well. But there's other Tyrod Taylors out there, so to speak.
Oh, really? His name is Josh Rosen.
Oh, we could just do a Josh Rosen video.
Yeah. So you're saying if the Broncos get Tyrod, then they'll get their quarterback, or just by him being in Denver, maybe he turns Drew Lock into the guy.
Yeah, I think that might be the case.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing to think about. Ryan Fitzpatrick, on the other hand, kind of the opposite effect. He's like the hot, you got a stable relationship, and he's the hot girl that moves in next door and starts to threaten things. He's very threatening to the starting quarterback.
Yeah, he makes the other quarterback's jock straps wet.
Yeah, they get a little
sweat of nervousness, not sexual.
Not, everybody sweats in their groin. That's a normal place to sweat.
Right. So
do quarterbacks. I don't blame them. He does a lot of things I think that normal quarterbacks can't. Like if you were to pick 2 more opposite quarterbacks, you couldn't find 2 more opposite guys than Tua and Fitzpatrick last year. And it felt like the Dolphins were like, they really just wanted to play Fitzpatrick the whole year. They really did. And they're like, well, fuck, we did spend the number 3 overall pick on a quarterback. So
right.
we kind of got to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I felt like Fitzpatrick was really good last year. And maybe that's
especially in the latter half of the season.
Maybe that's just because the last memory of him is the fucking Hail Mary that he threw to beat the Raiders while getting face masked. Like, just an all-time incredible play, right? And that's kind of like why I would be excited about Ryan Fitzpatrick, because he's not a perfect quarterback, but he is a playmaker. And you're going to get some fun plays out of him every week, which are going to help you forget about like some of the mistakes. So I started thinking about that, and I was like, well, couldn't you sort of bet on Drew Lock eventually like being the same kind of guy? Like, we've seen him make some great plays. It was just like last year it felt like there was more of the bad than the good. And I don't know like how much bad you're going to actually get with Fitzpatrick. I think like the interception thing is a little overblown. At least the last 2 seasons in Miami. So I was like looking, through his stats and Locke's stats last year, because I felt like I watched a good amount of football from both of them. And, Fitzpatrick started the season with 2 losses, one against the Patriots, then the Bills, then he gets a win against the Jags, then they lose against Seattle. They beat the Niners, they beat the Jets, lose to Denver, but he wasn't starting there, right?
He didn't start. He came in when the Dolphins were down, and then threw that pick to Justin Simmons.
Right.
That basically ended the game.
Then he beat the Jets and came in for that Raiders game, threw 13 passes, completed 9 of them.
Yeah, so he's kind of like their relief quarterback.
Right.
At times. And had them playing really well when he got benched.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think we've kind of forgotten about it. That was a really controversial decision at the time.
No, it was. People, and then Tua came in and he was just efficient. He played like a different style of football for the Dolphins.
Yeah, he played a couple pretty good games.
Right.
Had a winning record. He was something like 6-2 maybe?
Something like that.
It's crazy that he gets like ragged on so much for a rookie that went 6-2.
Yeah.
He was safe, but
he was just boring. That's why.
He was boring. Yeah, he's very safe. He needs to take more chances for sure. And that's something you've never had to say about Ryan Fitzpatrick. That he needs to take more chances.
He's gonna take chances. He's gonna pick up first downs with his legs.
He's gonna fire your guys up. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna rally the troops.
Yeah,
every time he gets on that field.
I think a good comparison is like the same kind of energy Jake Plummer brought with him on the field. Like, guys rallied around Plummer and played hard for Plummer. Like, I think you get that with Fitzpatrick every week. When he had 13 touchdowns to 8 picks last year in we'll say 8 games roughly. So you're probably going to go with like mid-20s in touchdowns and hopefully not more than 15 interceptions. But it would be like Drew Lock, but if he had 10 more touchdowns last season, which you could argue might win the Broncos 3 or 4 more games. So
yeah,
I think like
where you put those touchdowns, yeah.
I'm trying to manage like my expectations for what Ryan Fitzpatrick would mean if he was on the team. I think he would beat out Drew Lock in a competition, and I think he would start the season, and I think you would ride with him for the whole fucking year until he maybe did a game where he threw like 5 picks or something, which is not beyond him doing, but he hasn't had a game like that He had 3 picks week 1 last year. I was against the Patriots. We'll just call that a mental sort of.
We'll throw that out. We'll throw that out of there.
Okay, so then
outlier.
The last time he threw 3 picks was 2019, week 2 against the Patriots.
Just don't play the Patriots.
Oh wait, did that switch years? Come on, tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just bad against the Patriots.
And that defense defense is really, really good at taking the ball away. Everybody was throwing 3 picks against the Patriots. Just about.
Yeah. So you're looking at Fitzpatrick. You go back to 2018. Tampa Bay. Yeah, that's when he started that season hot. He had those back-to-back 4-touchdown games. Then a 3-touchdown, 3-pick game against the Steelers. That game was awesome. And then, yeah, I mean, he's going to throw 3 picks one game. Just got to
That's fine. That's okay.
We're okay with it.
You'll take it. I think he'll take it. Yeah, he fires you up. My problem is, I think, how old is he? He's like 37, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little worried with like the way he plays. He's going to hit a wall.
Yeah, I mean,
he's definitely not following the
38.
TB12 method. He mostly like eats birthday cake in the off season and then burns it off in training camp, which is fine. But I'm not sure. Like, I feel like at some point he's I don't know if he's super injury prone, but he's going to hit like a wall sooner or later.
Yeah, I mean, he's 38. He'll be 39 next November, so he is old.
That's pretty old.
He takes hits. He'll take some sacks.
He will. He'll put his body on the line.
Yeah. A stat I found that was interesting was through, what was this? Pro Football Reference. His bad percentage throw, 14%. That sounded high to me. So then I was like, what was Drew Lock's bad percentage throw? 23%.
Ooh. So,
I think...
Do you have like a reference for what's like an average bad throw percentage?
Ooh, I will look that up. Let's see. Well, let's just fucking look at Aaron Rodgers, okay?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Game logs. 2020 advanced stats. Bad throw percentage. Oh, they gave him 13.8.
Okay.
So FtizMagic on par with Rodgers. Let's see if they suckle the Tom Brady teats with this stat. Let me tell you, I saw a lot of bad throws.
I saw plenty of bad throws.
Oh, yeah, they definitely suckle his teat. Oh, no, wait, here we go. Bad throw percentage from Tom Brady. 20.
Oh.
20.6.
Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick, a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
You heard it here first. Ryan Fitzpatrick, better than Brady. Let's see here.
I think the Buccaneers could have held on to Fitzpatrick and still won the Super Bowl this year.
Ooh, I think you're right. Let's see. Let's look at old Deshaun Watson, since he's another guy we want in Denver. No, not Desmond Trufant, damn it. All right, last one. 2020, advanced stats, Deshaun Watson, bad throw percentage, 15.1%. So closer to Ryan Fitzpatrick, better than Tom Brady, better than Aaron Rodgers apparently too. Yeah, so overall, I would take Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, he's only going to go somewhere where he can compete for the starting job. So Denver would be that. I think people who think guys like Fitzpatrick or Andy Dalton are going to be these great mentors coming in, I think that's wrong. Also, Fitzpatrick made $8 million last year, so I feel like he's going to want around that same amount of money at least to play.
We'll give him, 8, 10, sure. Why not? They just cut Jurrell Casey. They've got all the money in the world.
Yeah, they saved $11.87 million by cutting Jurrell Casey, so you could just trade that for Fitzpatrick and have a little extra. So I'm pro Fitzpatrick, even knowing the downsides. I think at the very least he's going to beat the Raiders in miraculous fashion. You don't get the name FtizMagic because you're not a magician, right?
Yeah, he's not like a creepy Chris Angel.
Yeah.
Who's that guy that hung out with Leonardo DiCaprio all the time?
Wasn't David Blaine, was it?
Something like that. Yeah, but it's not like a street, like, creepy, probably does things with girls, kind of magician, but like a magician, like you go and, pulls a rabbit out of a hat, saws a person in half.
Yeah.
That kind of magician.
Your classical magician.
Your classic magician. Right.
Your Penn and Teller. Your Penn and Teller.
Yes. Yeah. Except cut out the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's the only veteran I would allow. We've already talked about Gardner Minshew's like the other young guy. I wouldn't mind the Broncos bringing in to actually compete with Drew Lock. So now they released Jurrell Casey, which saves them $11.87 million in cap, and now they have the fifth most cap space. So this is a good season to have the cap space because not a lot of teams do. So your flexibility in free agency is going to be
pretty high.
We've got a huge sort of X factor in that the Broncos have a new GM, so we really don't know how he's going to approach free agency.
I think he probably, the way Elway did it is it felt like he'd take swings one year and then be quiet the next year in free agency. Like if you look at 2014 versus 2015, right. 2014 he signs Talib, Sanders, TJ Ward, DeMarcus Ware. And then the next year it's like Owen Daniels and Darian Stewart, who was kind of a nobody at the time.
Yeah, and Darian Stewart turned out to be like the piece that completed that defense.
Yeah, totally put them over the top.
Yeah.
But it seems like he sort of alternates every year. Just about. And I think Peyton, he kind of getting that power for the first time, like that real like executive responsibility to sign off on free agent signings, because I really think it is him. And a lot of people like, yeah, but Elway's still there. I don't think, from what I heard, Elway didn't even know about the AJ Boye release until he didn't. That was Peyton. Like he did the whole thing.
Yeah, well, that's good.
So
I mean,
he's going to try to like put his stamp on it.
Right. And hopefully, I think the Broncos will sign almost exclusively defensive players in free agency if they're active.
Yeah.
I just don't see a lot of needs on offense for them to really address, unless it's, the quarterback position. But
yeah, maybe there or like tackle, possibly.
They're not going to get rid of Juwan James, so it's going to be it would have to be like it
could be a swing guy,
a no risk sort of tackle.
Well, maybe Calvin Anderson's that guy already. Who knows?
Yeah, I think like I was reading, like Juwan James would be more money. It would cost you more money to cut him, to release him. Your dead cap hit is huge, so it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, this is assuming he plays this year.
Yeah, let's assume he's going to play.
Yeah.
So I think, you can address probably your defensive line, your linebacker spot if you want. You definitely have to address the secondary. And Casey going, to me, suggests that they'll definitely sign or try to sign Shelby Harris and Justin Simmons. I think you can't, like, if you were going to let Shelby Harris walk, then you probably talk to Casey about coming back and maybe figuring out if you can take his 1 year and turn it into 2, because he had an injury. Doesn't mean he's going to have it again, and he's 31 years old or something, which is he seems older. He's one of those guys that looks like he's 49 years old.
Yeah, he looks like he's 70.
Yeah, but that would be a piece you would probably want. But so to me, that says Shelby Harris, Justin Simmons coming back. Now Melvin Gordon, if he's found guilty of his drunk driving, his DUI. Apparently his guaranteed money by Denver could be voided, and he would have to just play for his base salary of $4.5 million. So That's pretty steep for a DUI. That's about a $2.4 million pay cut.
Yeah, that
And I guess he
quite a
got a
bit.
new GM in town because the previous regime under Elway has had their own issues with DUIs. So
How many? Yeah, I mean, how many DUIs do you think Elway got away with himself just by
I don't
being
want
John
to.
Elway?
I don't want to say anything, but I think I was told the story in confidence that he definitely got one.
Yeah,
He got he got one.
yeah. To everybody listening to this, shh, shh,
Yeah,
keep it to yourself.
this was years ago, but
Yeah,
So let's just say
that's the the even more miraculous drive than the one in Cleveland.
the police helping Elway
Yeah,
pull his car out of a ditch somewhere.
right.
Um, so if this DUI thing plays out, I forget who I saw tweeting this. Maybe it was Woody Page. It was some new. Maybe it was Troy Rank. I can't remember. But maybe that shaves another 2.4 million off the cap. Although bonuses don't always
really
count
steep.
against the cap, so I don't know how that works. Seems kind of fucked up for Melvin Gordon, but he seems like he admitted the mistake right away, and he might just be willing to take that punishment and play the season. And I think you want to keep Melvin Gordon on the roster right now.
And he probably misses what, 4 games to start the year?
I think it would be 2. I think like it's 4 or 2 or 6.
Hopefully not 6.
I forget what the CBA thing is, but I think the way he handled it, it would be a 2-game suspension.
Yeah, I think it probably should be.
So that said, Broncos are moving stuff around, obviously getting ready for free agency. And then here's the last thing I wanted to talk about. Mel Kiper, his first mock draft came out. And he had the Broncos trading with the Patriots in the draft, dropping down to 15, and then landing corner Caleb Farley. So it worked out for the Broncos because the Patriots, they moved up with Denver to draft a quarterback or something. I forget. Do I still have that up? Oh, yeah. Who did they take? Who did they take in the Broncos' place?
I think it was probably
Trey Lance. He had
Lance.
them taking Trey Lance.
Huh.
I think most people believe one of the first 2 corners will be Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley.
Yeah, it's pretty much interchangeable at this point with those guys.
So a move like that, I would be happy with. If the Broncos trade back a few spots, still get one of the top 2 corners, and get an extra pick somewhere else later.
However,
I think that's smart. However,
you're happy with them giving the Patriots the opportunity to draft their franchise quarterback?
yeah, I don't care anymore.
You don't care
No.
at all?
No, it's
You
not
don't wanna-
Brady. I don't care.
You don't want to see them toil in obscurity with Jarrett Stidham?
Am I worried Trey Lance is the next dynasty quarterback?
I think
Not
Trey Lance
really.
could be pretty good.
He might be, but I'm not
might be
worried
pretty
about it
good.
right now.
Okay. All right. Just someone
I actually hope they do draft a guy and he's great because
someone make a note right now. Freezing cold takes.
I'll like whoever it is probably better than Tom Brady. My
Yeah, well,
problem,
that's,
we have addressed my problem is with Tom Brady. Not so
That's
much,
fair.
not so much the Patriots. Just happened to be he played with them.
I'm more of a I don't care for the Patriots. It's a Patriots thing over Brady. I don't like Brady either, but man, do I not like their fans.
Well, that's they're fans. Them like I hate all fans. I hate Broncos fans.
It's fair.
I hate all fans at
I hate
different times for different reasons.
Whoever you are listening right now,
I
we
hate
hate
it.
you.
I hate
we
you.
hate you.
I have been annoyed by every single fan base except for maybe Bengals. I don't think Bengals ever get too mad.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that just jump off the Bengals train.
Yeah, I made a video.
Team to be a fan of.
Yeah, a few years ago about something that happened at a Jaguars game, And some of their fans came out of the woodworks, were crazy.
Jeez.
Holy shit. I didn't know you guys existed.
They're crazy. They're Florida. They're swamp people.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even swampy there, but still. They're
you know what's
Florida
not
men and
crazy? DraftKings Sportsbook, Will.
women. Oh,
It's not quite time for the madness. That is college basketball in March, but that doesn't mean madness, the swamp people. That doesn't mean the fun has to wait. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all new players a chance to cash $100. New customers can bet $1 on any team to hit a three-point shot. Whoo swish! In any basketball game this week, and if your team makes it rain, you cash $100. That's right, all it takes is for one Trey Pointer to be hit by your chosen team to turn $1 into $100. Sounds like a no-brainer. Speaking of no-brainers, this is a slam dunk of an offer.
nice.
That won't be around forever, Will. So head to the App Store now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook to get in on all of the action. If basketball ain't for you, DraftKings Sportsbook has daily odds on hockey, soccer, and so much more. And hockey and soccer. DraftKings has paid over $7 billion to its customers since 2012, so they know a thing or two about big paydays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR to get your shot to turn $1 into $100 when you bet on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. That's promo code DNVR for new customers to get a shot at 100 to 1 odds on any basketball team to hit a three-point shot. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Got to be 21. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. Winnings paid out in $4 25 free bets. DraftKings.com/sportsbooks for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Mel Kiper's mock draft. Will, do you want the Broncos to just stay there at 9? If you're going to pick between Surtain and Farley, which guy are you taking? Do you know enough about those two guys to even tell me an answer to that?
Absolutely.
I pose a different question.
Absolutely not. I would say, however, if you're not trading that pick for a quarterback, yeah, I mean, maybe just stay there.
Do you think they should take a QB with that pick?
That's tough because if one of the guys were there, then maybe, but I don't expect that. I think you'll have to trade up.
Yeah, things are getting hot for those top 3 QBs now.
They're getting hot. I think it could go like 4 of the first 6 could be quarterbacks.
Yeah, because there could be a trade into one of those top spots too.
Right. And people think the Falcons are going to take a quarterback too.
Right. And I mean, it makes sense for them. They're at the position to do it. And, Matt Ryan's got a couple of years left. It's the right time for that organization to make that move.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be wise. I don't think Matt Ryan's slowing down though.
No, I don't.
And he's another guy that really could be on the market. Like, who would you? Yeah, I mean, if you throw Matt Ryan in there with Watson, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, and Matt Ryan is a lot older than those guys, but put him in a good situation, and I think he can be as effective. He's the only one out of those guys who's won an MVP, and that MVP season is better than anything any of those guys have done.
No, Matt Ryan would be a great 2 to maybe 4 year guy. Like, you just don't know how they're going to age past what? How old is Ryan? 37? 38?
36 probably.
Oh, maybe younger than I thought. Matt Ryan is... Oh, fuck, he's 35.
Aha.
That's easy. I mean, because it seems like you would be able to get him for so much less right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. We all think that, though, until it's time to trade, and it's no, they want a first rounder and a second rounder.
I'd give up a first rounder for Matt Ryan.
I would too.
I'd give up a first rounder and whatever sort of other early mid-round pick they wanted in the next year. So like a first this year and a third next year. Like I don't know what they would want, but I don't. It doesn't seem like they're going to move on from him this year. That might be an actual. How many years are left on his contract? Don't worry, I'm looking it up. Well,
Probably, I'm going to say one.
oh, he's in the middle of a deal, but there's an out year for a potential out year for the Falcons in 2022.
And that's why people keep talking about them drafting a quarterback, that quarterback sitting. You get another year on Matt Ryan, and then you trade him or cut him.
Yeah, what if I were the Falcons? I would draft my QB this year. I would keep him on the roster with Matt Ryan for 2021, and then after 2021, trade Matt Ryan. He would still have 2 years left on his deal. He's going to get paid like 23 million and then 28 million. So whichever team gets him, that's a good deal for Matt Ryan. And I don't think they would trade him this year.
No, I don't think so either. But he doesn't strike me as a guy whose game will deteriorate too much in the next few years.
It shouldn't, because he's like a guy who gets rid of the ball. He doesn't take a bunch of unnecessary hits. It's just a question of, if he wakes up at age 37 and starts feeling all of 37.
Yeah, that could happen with a lot of guys too.
But he also is, looks like he's in better condition than say like Ben Roethlisberger. So you assume like his body might hold up longer.
I'd say that's probably fair.
Yeah, he's a guy who should play it into his early 40s, is what we're saying.
Yeah, it's funny how much the window is open for quarterbacks
because of stupid Brady.
Yeah, Brady and Breeze really too.
Yeah,
that you could really see the decline with Breeze.
You started to see it in 2019, and then this year, after he broke almost all but one rib in his body, you're like, oh fuck yeah, he's playing hurt, and that it's starting to look like he might not retire.
Yeah, it could be an awkward situation for the Saints.
He's taking his time, and that's never a good thing.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing here, but I'm assuming he's waking up feeling pretty healthy again. Is like, should I go back one more?
It's hard to end your career on a loss.
Yeah,
on a playoff loss,
and it's hard to turn down $25 million.
Also hard to turn down $25 million. It's like that broadcasting job's not going to go anywhere.
No,
it's going to be there whenever you decide to retire.
I hope Breeze retires. I just think he needs to.
And now, and they want to roll a Jameis Winston.
Have fun.
Good luck. Good luck.
So Matt Ryan is the other veteran I would willingly welcome, but that means Drew Lock would not be around, I would imagine.
No, I think any of those swings, Fitzpatrick, you keep Lock, Gardner Minshew, which I think I'm opting. If you don't either take a big swing and get one of the big guys like Watson or Prescott. I mean, those are the two guys I would really want.
Right.
Wilson, Wilson the player, absolutely, but like you said with Andy Dalton, I don't like Russell Wilson. I just don't. He's not a guy I really want to root for.
Yeah, I'm not a big Russell Wilson fan either.
Yeah, and he's older than the two guys I just mentioned. So I think obviously everybody wants Deshaun Watson first and foremost. So take a big swing, and if not, don't get don't take the Andy Dalton type.
No, don't waste your money.
Because he doesn't provide any sort of upside really.
None.
Yeah, you just okay, we don't want you to even touch the field.
Yeah.
Best case scenario is you don't take a snap. So I think I would go for Gardner Minshew just because he seems cheap.
Yeah, very
Cheap,
affordable.
and he's the opposite of Drew Lock in that he really takes care of the ball.
Yeah.
And I think if you throw Gardner Minshew last year into that team with 16 games, you probably win a couple more games just because he doesn't turn it over.
I agree. And what happened to Gardner Minshew last year was he had a coaching staff that either didn't believe in him or thought he might actually give them the best chance to win. And
yeah, I think that was it.
They were on a path of not winning. So I think it's really hard to observe what he did last year. So in terms of a ceiling, it's really unknown. Just kind of like Drew Lock's ceiling is still unknown. So I'd rather roll with those two and just try to figure it out that way.
Right. Yeah, because like you put Andy Dalton in there, it's like, who cares? You're probably still not going to win a playoff game.
No.
Probably don't even make it to the playoffs. You're going to have Dalton at this point.
Yeah. You're going to have a bunch of fans who die at the stadium of boredom if Andy Dalton is your quarterback.
Yeah.
It'll be the first time in Broncos history that you have multiple deaths every week at the stadium due to boredom.
Yeah, they start hurling themselves off of the top row.
Careful, that actually happened, didn't it?
Did it?
Yeah, a guy died at the Broncos stadium.
On purpose?
Nah, he fell off of one of the fucking things.
Oh, yeah, that happens every now and then.
Yeah.
I was at a rage. At least it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't like watching Kyle Orton play.
Yeah. And Kyle Orton was the last most boring quarterback.
Yeah, Orton and Flacco.
Oh, fuck.
Flacco, I barely remember.
I thought Flacco was going to be all right, but I was wrong. All right, anyway, let's...
we were all wrong.
Let's start doing our voodoo prayers for any guy named Ryan, really. Matt Ryan, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't care where the Ryan is, as long as it's not Rex Ryan.
I think Deshaun Watson's middle name is Ryan.
Is it?
No. It'd be fun. It'd be a funny, Deshaun Ryan Watson. Saving Private Ryan.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a movie you should watch. If you haven't already, obviously.
Yeah, I listened to Ian Rappaport talk about the Deshaun Watson situation. Because he had a meeting with their head coach, David Culley. I think that's his name. Told him that he wants to be traded still. Took the meeting out of respect for David Culley. And it sounds like the Texans are still refusing to oblige. And Ian Rappaport was like, this won't be resolved this week. It's not going to be resolved during free agency. It's probably not going to be resolved during the draft or after the draft. We're going to get to training camp.
They'd be wise to do it sooner rather than later. And they should just be merciful on their fans and do it now.
Yeah. I don't understand why they won't do it, but that's the thing. Like, even if Watson is going to go somewhere, you may just have to be prepared for it to be the 2022 offseason.
Oh, man.
Because the Texans are so stubborn. Like, they might force him to miss training camp, preseason, and then start missing games. And he said he's willing to miss games. So,
yeah, I mean, you should be.
It's who's going to flinch first. So, if it looks like he's not going to hit it, then Gardner Minshew's your best option, because you're not going to give up hardly anything to get him. He's cheap. And then if Watson does come available next offseason and say Minshew and Locke aren't your guys, you might still be in a position to grab him. Because if they're not your guys, then you're probably still bad, so the Broncos might have a high draft pick again. But
yeah, that's fair. It's hard to be like, he's not our guy, but we also went 10-6.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I hope for Deshaun Watson's sake, the Texans... Well, I mean, in the Texans' perspective, it's like Jack Easterby's like, Deshaun Watson wants a trade because he doesn't like me.
Yeah.
Essentially. So it's hard to accept that from their point of view, right? It's nothing else. Like, he just doesn't want to be here with you guys. And it's a guy everyone likes. It's not like this is a guy who has attitude problems or anything.
Yeah, it's not like Ryan Leaf.
Not even like Yeah, it's not even like Jamal Adams necessarily. He doesn't really have attitude problems. He just didn't want to be with like a losing team. And so it's like kind of personal.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to just be like, all right, well, we're just going to cut our losses now and trade him. It's like, no, I'll convince him to like us. It's not going to happen.
No, because you can't convince him that you know how to run a team. That's the problem.
Yeah, because you got to figure out how to run a team, and that seems to be the major obstacle.
Yeah. You already screwed up the easiest part, which is making the most important player, not on your team, just one of the most important players in the league happy. So
yeah, it's not that hard.
It's like Russell Wilson wanting out of Seattle to me seems more egregious than Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, because they went 12-4.
Yeah, and his big qualm is they didn't take his input when he wanted to keep throwing the ball a lot, even though he had just played like 3 or 4 bad games throwing too much, trying to force the ball around. Like, and Wilson could control that if he really wanted to. Like, they can call any play into Russell Wilson they want.
I saw this tweet you had.
He can just run whatever the fuck he wants. Like,
that's how the quarterbacks used to do it. They used to, like, Joe Namath called his own plays.
Yeah. I mean, Peyton Manning did. Just, if you're really that upset with the play calling, just fucking do it your way then. What are they going to do? Bench you? They're going to bench Russell Wilson? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. My problem with the Seahawks, because I agree, they should throw more late in the season. Like, they shouldn't ground their offense necessarily, but they want to be this run-based offense, and like, who's their great running back? Or who's their great, like, run-blocking offensive lineman?
That's it. Like, I thought, yeah. I mean, Chris Carson's good, but he's always hurt.
Yeah, he's not great, yeah.
That's the thing. It's Pete Carroll's stuck in his ways. Russell Wilson wants to do things a certain way. When I compared him to Dan Reeves and Elway, I really think it's very similar to that. Just two guys who want to go different directions philosophically. Is that philosophic?
You got it. You nailed it.
But they're never going to really compromise for some reason because their egos are they're both too good. Like, they've had too much success. And once you do that, it gets tricky when you're not on the same page.
I mean, if you're the Seahawks, would you
I'd fire Pete
Carroll, yeah.
Fuck yeah, in a second.
I think I'd do that too.
It's also just head coaches after a certain amount of time. You got to move on from them unless they're. I think like 10 years with a head coach is kind of your max run. The Broncos had to move on from Shanahan. Like, it just happens sometimes.
Yeah. I think eventually, like, the message just kind of stops working.
Yeah. No, we've heard that too from Seahawks players about Pete Carroll specifically.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But Pete Carroll would be good with probably a new quarterback. I like Tua really would make a lot of sense for Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
He'll hand the ball off 30 times a game for you. No questions asked.
Yeah, he's like, let's run the ball more.
Yeah.
Can I throw it any shorter?
He won 2 games last year with under 100 passing yards. So
yeah, DK Metcalf keeps telling me to throw deep. Let's trade him too.
Yeah. There you go, Seattle.
Yeah, perfect.
Right. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back we're gonna do a Broncos mock draft next episode. That's gonna happen.
Definitely.
We might just do that live. We'll see.
That'd be fun.
We'll do it through the Pro Football Focus draft simulator. It's really easy, so we can do
we'll do it live.
We can do a handful of mock drafts, and if you get in there, you can tell us what you want to do with the first pick. Maybe we'll do it that way.
There you go.
All right. Bye. Good night and good luck. Always ACL. Kill the man.